Hello guys, Saturday's come, up the blade, see you.
Hello everyone, welcome back to When Saturday's Come with me, Dry Bry. Chris Wilder's press today on a Tuesday brought it forward, so that means they'll be going down to London a little bit earlier than when I'm thinking they might be going down tomorrow. It's getting close. Every time the Chris Wilder presser and it's day before a match, it's a couple of days, 3 days before the game. Oh, I can already feel the butterflies already coming. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting, isn't it? It's going to be one of those, it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be a tight game, a close game. I don't think there'll be many goals in game. I just hope we don't, one of those games where they don't cancel each other out. Obviously, both teams have got quality players in the side. Sunderland with like Lafay and Bellingham, Isidore, Roberts. You know, they're all capable match winners, aren't they? And I'm not overly worried about Sunderland. I am sort of cagey about them. I think that on the day they can be a very good side. When their early season form was exceptional and it was really good. They got off to a blistering start, didn't they? And they faded out a little bit. Coventry played really well against them in the semis. And that could have gone either way until Ballard rocked up with his header. And he's going to be a danger at set pieces, another one to watch out for in the match. I'm not sure how it's going to play out. I think it'll be close. I know we're favourites, just odds on, I think we're about 8 to 11. I think we've got enough on our form if we rock up. I think we have got to turn up. I don't think we should, be sitting back. I think obviously Sunderland are going to have spells in game at some point, and with their big fan base behind them as well, they'll be trying to break us down. I think we've got to be strong at their set pieces, and I think we've really got to take our chances as well. We're not a free-flowing... I say free-flowing. We've just put 6 past Bristol City. We are capable of scoring. We have got strength in depth coming off the bench as well. I think a little bit more than Sunderland. A prediction, I think, tight, probably 2-1 Blades, 1-0 Blades. I'm hoping it don't go to extra time and penalties. I don't think my heart will cope with all that. I want us to win it in normal time if we can. I'm just wondering how Sunderland are gonna play it. I wonder, looking at the Coventry game, when I watched that game, I know we're a different side to Coventry, but are they going to sit in? Are they going to have more of the ball? Are they going to attack us a bit more? They've certainly got up pace up front, haven't they? So we've got to be very wary of that. And I think we will be. I think we've got to. I think we might have more at ball than them. We might control it more, but have we got the ability to break them down? That's my little bit of a concern. I think we have. I think we will. I'm just hoping that we can stay strong mentally, physically, tactically. We get it right. I'm sure Chris will be banging into the players all week, focusing what we have to do to win the game. Form goes out at Winder, it becomes irrelevant. Form in these games is one-off. Who wants it on the day? Who's got the experience on the day? Who can handle the occasion on the day? The pitch is going to, obviously a big pitch at Wembley. But I don't think that we play on big pitches anyway. Blades is a big pitch at Bramall Lane. I think it's a bit of a fallacy to say that, it's a big pitch and all that. I think it is energy sapping. I think it with, got 80,000 fans breathing down your neck as well. Have we got the players to be able to handle that occasion? I think we have. We've got players who have played in Premiership, and Premiership matches, playoff finals before. And I'm obviously confident that the lads can turn up and do it. So we'll listen to Chris Wilder's press. Obviously, I'm going to put it on all after this. I'll let you judge what he's got to say. I can write everything down, but I want you to hear it from yourself, not just from me. and it's just getting nearer and nearer. Have you got your ticket, by the way? My ticket come on email today. I've got one more to come from my mate, but that should be coming. They come out in blocks apparently. So if you haven't got both of yours or all of yours yet, you will get them. They do come out over the next 48 hours in blocks of tickets. So and get them printed off. That's the advice we're getting from Sheffield United, to print your ticket off. So best way to do that is if you can get access to a printer, obviously do that. Right, just to finish off thingy, thank you for all your comments and watching the Legends of the Lane tour. I've got one more to upload, which is John's interview. I'll probably might do this later on today or tomorrow, so you can sit back and enjoy that as well. Thank you for watching and subscribing to the channel. And those of you that have been hundreds have watched the channel, the videos. It's been brilliant. Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it. Obviously I do. You know I do. And I will answer all your comments. So this is going to be my last video before Wembley. Please, be safe. Enjoy your journey. Get behind the team. We must do that. We are the 12th man for Blades, aren't we? We've got to get behind them, support them all the way. Even if it's not going so great in the game, stick by them, support them, encourage them. Let's be brave. Let's win. And enjoy that journey back home, up the M1, and hopefully we're back in the Prem. Put your comments in, put your team in as well, put them in down below, let me know what you think your team's going to be, and any comments that you might feel that is relevant, and it's going to be really good. So let's just see what happens, and come on, up the Blaze, get behind them, back to the Prem.
Chris, what kind of an opportunity is this for the club, for the players, for everyone?
Yeah, fantastic one. Talk about opportunities, great opportunities, give you a chance to make great memories as well. So not only, of course, what's attached to the game from a financial point of view for the football club, of course, it's talked about heavily. But for me, the opportunity of going back to the Premier League with our football club, and for the players, the opportunity of pitting themselves against players. The best players in the world.
How much are you relishing managing Sheffield United at Wembley?
Yeah, it's going to be a proud moment for, I should imagine, for anybody in my position. Maestri connection for the football club to lead the club out at Wembley Stadium. I should imagine in front of close to if not over 80,000 supporters. One of the biggest games in world football, as people talk about. It's a great honour and privilege and responsibility. But got to do my job right, and that's the first and foremost, and we're here to win. We talked about it at length. I know you've obviously been here locally as well. Talked about the reset after the Burnley game, which was really important, giving players valuable minutes, resting a few players, resetting physically, but most importantly resetting mentally. And I've been absolutely delighted in terms of the reaction that we've got from the Burnley game. I should imagine the narrative was a negative one. And then you have to pile on all the stuff that everybody locally and possibly nationally talks about our playoff record, but that's not touched us one bit. One single ounce of that has not gone into my thinking or the players' thinking. They're ultra positive, they're focused, they're excited as well, and they're really looking forward to the challenge of going to Wembley and hopefully getting that win that we're all after.
You've managed at this stadium before, you've won here, so what is it like winning at Wembley?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a place for losers, is it? Watching the cup final last weekend, and you saw the contrast between, arguably one of the best teams in the country over the past 10 years against an outsider, and the joy and the elation of Crystal Palace. We've got some connections there with Dean Henderson, obviously. Delighted for Dean, and the disappointment and the pain that Manchester City feel, even though they've won everything that's to be won in European football and domestic football. It hurts, so it's no place to lose, as everybody talks about. A lot of people talk about, it's the best way to go up. I've been consistent with that. I would have rather have gone up automatically, but we were given an opportunity, and we've taken it, and we have another opportunity awaiting us on Saturday afternoon.
Have you been too busy, or have you had 5 minutes to drop Dean Henderson a text?
Yeah, I have actually. Yeah, I got one back as well. So yeah, delighted for Dean. He was outstanding on the day, and he was a major player in terms of them lifting the trophy, and it was good to see as well. I thought from a neutral's point of view, Newcastle winning in the Carabao Cup and Crystal Palace winning in the FA Cup as well. I think it's good.
What's been your message to the players this week, and how have you tried to manage them ahead of this game?
No, I haven't had to manage them at all. They're focused. You know, we're always looking and getting the feel right to the week after you know, 2 great performances, a memorable night at Bramall Lane last Monday. You know, I've got to say, when I look back at that evening, the noise, the energy that the supporters gave us, the feel of it was incredible. One of the best nights I've witnessed as anything regarding as a player, supporter and manager at Bramall Lane. I know that's been said by a lot of people. There's a load of energy around this football club at the moment, and we have to take that into Saturday. But no, you know, we have to get the preparation right. We have to get the detail right. That's really important. As I've said, one of my old favourites, and I imagine the players are a little bit bored of me saying it. You know, I think everybody wants to win. Some want to win more than others, but it's how you prepare for these situations. Physically, we're in a good shape. We've got everybody available, which is fantastic news. They're all knocking on the door. They're all putting their hand up to play, which I'm not surprised about. So physically, we're in a great place from availability point of view. Tactically, we've got to find a way to get the job done, to execute the game plan. Technically, we've got really good players. That's the good thing about it. I've got a real good group of players that can produce big moments, can keep clean sheets, that can play on the big stage, big occasion. And the mentality has been really consistent. So I'm enjoying watching the players. I'm liking where they're at the moment. There's no guarantees, of course, but I don't think we could have prepared any better, and we're ready.
You've got a lot of options. Do you know your team?
Yeah, of course, yeah. We've worked on that, but I think the way modern football is now, Rob, is the use of your substitutions. We've always been proactive in terms of our substitutions. There's always, you know, a go-to if we're chasing a game or needed to change it up, or if we need to see a game out. I think that's the modern way. Usage of the substitutions got a vital part to play. Just looking at the last 2 games that we've played, the substitutes have had an impact. I was a little bit critical towards sort of the back end of the season in terms of the impact that maybe the substitute should have made, but now they're really making an impact. So everybody's got a part to play, and everybody had a part to play since the start of the season. So I've not wavered from that. I've not wavered from how we are as a football club. We're an all-in football club. You know, it's not about you. It's about what happens with the group and the team, and the group wins and the group loses. But we're in a good place. You know, we've won 30 games out of 48 this season, so we're a winning football team. We're going for wins. I think 63-64% win ratio this season. So we know how to win, and that has got to be our focus on Saturday. We're going to go for a win and back ourselves.
Michael Cooper spoke a little earlier, and he said when he joined the club, it really helped him having a manager who knew Sheffield United and what it was all about. How do you impart your knowledge and experience of this club onto new signings, and can that knowledge and experience help in a week like this?
Well, the recruitment part of it, of course, you know, is part data driven, but part feel, subjective and objective as well. So we do our own work on players, and we bring players here who we believe can be a success, and he's certainly been a huge success for us. And we bring players to the football club for days like Saturday. Yeah, of course, we would have loved to have gone up automatically, and I've said it consistently. You know, the 2 teams above us have had an incredible season, and I certainly don't see it as a failure. I know some people think that, but I certainly don't, in terms of the challenges that we've had to overcome right the way through, and we've talked at length in here previously about it. So 92 points wasn't enough. You know, 101 might not have been enough. The way those 2 have gone about it. So maybe credit to them, and maybe taking a little bit of negativity away from us. I believe, especially with the challenges that we've had to face, and maybe both the other clubs have had big challenges, of course, but maybe not on the scale of what we've had to cope with. But that's it. That's done and dusted. And as I said, we've got an opportunity on Saturday. But these players come to this football club for big days, big games, big occasions, and they don't come any bigger than Saturday.
Just one final one on Cooper. He was asked how would he describe his style of goalkeeping, and he said it chilled. Is that resonate? You know, with what he said?
Yeah,
there?
I like
and how
it.
much does it help having a keeper who's quite chilled out?
Well, I've gone from one extreme to the other, haven't I, really, in terms of having the lunatic in goal for us for 2 seasons, who was absolutely outstanding, and I love him to pieces. I think he's, for me, the best goalkeeper in the country. Every time I send him a message, I always say England's #1, how are you? And he always comes back in a positive fashion, and Michael's completely different to it. So, listen, ideally, well, the job is to keep the ball out the back of the net, is to be calm, is to make big saves, is to make big saves in big moments when they have to, and they've both done that. Michael's contribution to the team this year has been outstanding. It was a smart signing for us, and Michael's grown and grown, and you know, hopefully this is just another step up for him. He certainly can play at the highest level, and that's what we're all aiming to do come Saturday night.
Chris Kavanagh's the referee. 193 yellow cards, 7 reds this season. Do you talk to your players about that?
We know he's a respected Premier League referee, so I've not really gone into the detail regarding yellows and reds. Yeah, of course, the sort of landscape's changed in terms of the VAR being involved at the weekend. We had Craig Pawson in at the football club on Monday to go through certain situations and certain scenarios as well. So I was thankful for that option that we had. So we've talked to him, because the game at that level. And refereeing at Premier League level is a different one to Championship football. So, but we have to play the game cleanly. We have to be disciplined in our approach, but we have to be competitive. So, challenging both that competitive aspect, emotional approach as well, because it has to be. There has to be that fire in your belly, and no doubt there will be. There's no need, you know. I don't ever feel I have to motivate my players to pull on our red and white shirt. I might have to do it now and again at half time, give them a little bit of a poke. But this group has been motivated right the way through. So getting the balance right between nice and calm and cool, and playing our game and playing in the flow that we have played recently, to being competitive and wanting to win. So got to get that balance right. I think that's said in any big game and any final, that the team that handles the occasion and plays the game is going to come out on top, and we've certainly got to do that.
What kind of game do you expect against Sunderland?
I don't know. I can go on how they played at the start of the season. I could go on how they played at their place, or I could go on the last two games. So, you know, everybody has a way of playing. So we have to prepare for both aspects. You know, as I said, all three games, 2 of the 3 games have been different, and I don't know how this game's gonna pan out. If I was going off the Coventry game, you've seen it. So if they sit in, then we have to break them down. But they've played against us at their place, where we missed a penalty and we made a couple of mistakes, and they punished us, and we pushed. Second half, we weren't strong enough. I think one of the things that I've talked about is when you talk about substitutions and strength in depth. You know, I look at our bench that day, and basically it was an under-21 bench, so that had to be dealt with in January, which certainly have. I think if you look at our bench now, especially at the weekend, it'll be, you know, completely different one to the one that was on the 1st of January. And the home game, they started off very well. You know, watch them play, the young side, and they've got plenty of energy and plenty of personality, and they've got quality. They've got threats all over the pitch, because they wouldn't have got the points that they've got if they weren't a good side. And I think the same with us. We wouldn't have got 92 points if we had not done a lot of things right. So they've done a lot of things right, so I'll respect that. But we've done a lot of things right as well. So we have to make sure that we're bang at it, and we execute our game plan, whatever is put in front of us.
I appreciate this is not going to have any impact on the game itself, but 14 points difference between the two teams. There's never been a bigger gap between two playoff finalists ever, going back to 1988. Does that speak to, if nothing else, the achievement of this season at Sheffield United, and now it's just a case of finishing the job?
100%. Yeah, we can take confidence that we've been consistently good right the way through the season, apart from one daft week really. And as I said, we'd have won 2 out of the 3 games. That might still not have been enough. So we can take confidence and belief of that we've been pretty good all season, and we need to be pretty good in the biggest game of the lot. We were excellent in both semi-finals, and so we've reset, as we talked about. The performance at Stoke was good. I believe we did enough to beat Blackburn at home on the last game of the season. So currently we're playing well. We feel the field is aflow to us. There's a confidence and belief. We can keep a clean sheet and we can score. So, and we know we're going to have to be, excellent in a lot of departments on Saturday. And if we did, then it makes our job more difficult. But go and execute that game plan. It's obviously the plan was after the Burnley game to reset, get ourselves right, plan for it, and then go and execute it. And we've executed the first bit. Now we're going to have to execute the biggest bit.
Finally, you've had a few, but would this be your best promotion?
I think we'll talk about that afterwards, Rob. Every promotion's special, whatever it's been, whether it's the one at Wembley when I was a young manager at Oxford United, and or whether it was, the others that I've had. Everyone has got a special memory, of course, and but we've put ourselves in the position, not just me, but the club. That's the most important thing, the club to get promoted. And off the back of that, I've always there's stories, that people want to talk about certain individuals and players and managers or whatever, and I'll be happy to talk about that afterwards. But knowing that I've got to be a good football manager on Saturday afternoon. We've done well so far, but there's no medals handed out to us because we've been pretty good all season. That'll be happening on Saturday afternoon if we're good. The players good individually, and we're good as a collective, and we do the business and get that win that we're all after. As I said, there's an enormous amount of energy around the place. I feel it living in the city as well. I know people want to talk about the negativity of the playoffs, but I've not felt that one bit at all. I think we're close to, if not sold out, which is, I think, testament to the belief that the supporters have got. The energy in the atmosphere in the second leg was as best I've felt as a Sheffield United supporter, player and manager. And we need to bring it all together on Saturday afternoon to get that win, and then I'll be absolutely delighted to talk about another promotion, but still a job to do.
Thanks for your time, Chris. Best
Cheers,
of luck.
Rob. Thank you.
Hi, Chris.
Hi.
It's 2 huge clubs, historic clubs as well, at Wembley. This is a great advert for the English game, right?
Yeah, 100%. Sunderland, incredibly well-supported football club. We watched the second game at home to Coventry. The atmosphere was absolutely electric, and the energy and the support that their supporters gave their players was incredible. 2 tough games against Coventry City. I think Frank will be a little bit disappointed, and Coventry City maybe have not to have got that win, but that's what happens over 2 games. They found a way to win, and they'll want to find a way to win on Saturday afternoon. So yeah, 2 big clubs, and going head to head in a sea of red and white on Saturday afternoon.
You mentioned they played completely different ways this season, Sunderland as well. But what do you make of that squad? Because it's full of young players as well, maybe without too much experience, maybe lacking a bit of fear as well, maybe.
Well, it's both ways. You don't know, do you? Unless you've got a crystal ball.
No, I don't.
Well, who knows? So who knows how it rocks up? It's a new occasion for them. We've got a certain amount of experience which we can fall back on. Some of our players played in big games. Callum's played in semi-finals of the FA Cup. Gus has played in in playoff games. They've all played in big games, even locally. That's quite a big game for the young players, the likes of Sidney Peck and Cooper, who's not played in no type of games, and Harrison Burrows. So they've all witnessed it and felt it. But as I said, it's about what happens on the day and who deals with everything that gets thrown into what is a huge football match. So yeah, they've got some talented players. They've got some young players, but they've got some experience as well. They've got Mepham and they've got Ballard and they've got some other guys. The captain's an experienced player, and Patrick Roberts has been around the block and he's a good player. Alan Brown's involved with them as well. So yeah, it can work both ways. We've got a pretty young side as well, so with that sprinkling of experience. So both teams are balanced. Yeah, of course they're the youngest of the two teams, and possibly one of the youngest teams in the championship, and they've done remarkably well to get themselves in the position, and they can be very proud of their efforts.
You mentioned Callum O'Hare there, and yeah, they had that experience at Wembley in that semi-final. I mean, he's got that extra level of resilience though, and I guess in these sorts of situations, having that in your locker, something to fall back on, can give you something extra at this sort of moments, right?
I don't think that they need anything. I've got to say, I certainly don't. I'm struggling to express how much that it means to all of us, and whatever story that they have. Well, it's Callum's story that his experiences at Wembley, or mine being locally, or other players that want to go and achieve, or want to go and play in the Premier League. Can't really express how much this will mean to us. But we got to channel all that. We've got to harness all that to make sure that we're right, and we're nice and calm, and we're focused, and we play as best we can, individually and as a team. And as I said, the stories afterwards will all come out. And I think basically it's only you guys that want to obviously pick up these stories, and I get that, and that's the job, and that's the media. So I understand that, but we've all got an ambition and an aim and a dream to play in the Premier League and to get to the Premier League. And we got close, and then we have that ability with the opportunity of the playoffs and going to Wembley on Saturday.
How different are you from the manager who took Oxford United up at Wembley? Because I watched back some of that, and you look quite similar actually. But how much have you changed as a manager since then?
Well, I think every experience you have to learn from. So, in terms of, as I've just said, personally, my desire and ambition and commitment is as big as it's ever been. The fire in me is as bright as it's ever been, as you can imagine as well, with the connections. But you learn right the way through your career, and I don't think you're ever too old to stop learning through every experience. And I'm learning stuff now that's new to me, that can improve me, and it can improve our staff, and it can improve ultimately our football club. So I've not got all the answers. I've never said I had. I'm not arrogant enough to think that I've been there, seen it and done it all. Because football's not like that. There's been down days as well, and there's been a couple of stints personally that I don't think personally my career should be defined by. But I think if you're from this part of the world, when you do get poked a little bit, you want to come roaring back and swinging. So certainly, I've got that in the locker, and the club has as well. From last year, a disappointing year, even though we were incredibly undercooked. In terms of at the start of the season and the recruitment, and losing 2 players, our best 2. So it was a real difficult situation for Paul and the players going into an unforgiving league. And you get not found out, because we didn't get found out, because basically the team at the start of the season was underprepared and undercooked. So it was always going to be an incredible struggle. So you have to feel that pain. You have to own that, and you do what you do best, which is come fighting back. And we've certainly done that right the way through the season, from the start, where we were short on players, where we got the players in, to all the other stuff that we talked about, change of ownership that we've had to deal with, and change of style, and obviously it goes without saying the loss of an incredibly popular player at our football club.
Finally, what's it been like for you this week, given that you are a fan as well and you've got connections here everywhere? What's your experience been like this week?
Yeah, it's been all right. It doesn't change. it doesn't change. It's just that the stakes get ramped up a little bit higher. But you know, if we were playing a pre-season game, I'd still be getting the same noise and nonsense from people around me. That's excluding family, of course. But that's how it is. That's what you live for, what you strive for, what you have to deal with. And I've had to deal with it for quite a long time. So another week, yeah. It's just another week in the life of me managing my football club. Cheers, thank you.
Hi Chris, just to touch on your point you made about George there. I mean, people talk about, trying to frame this in the right way, but people talk about, you know, teams getting a sort of 12th man from the crowd. Do you almost feel in a little way that you've sort of got that with George's sort of spirit behind you? I'm trying not to be too sort of cliche about that. But
yeah, I mean, like Sunderland are going to have their, you know, every club's got their own. Will have their own stories, of course. This is a story that, you know, it's not fabricated, it's not false, it's not real. This is somebody that was an incredibly popular player for the football club, that some of the players that are still with us play with and live 9-10 months of their lives with. I've talked about from 8 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock at night, to getting on that train, to getting in that hotel room, to sharing a dressing room with daily, to sharing a pitch with. So these are all things that have happened to us, and I think the club and the players have handled it incredibly well, and gone about it the right way. Remembering George, of course, which is really important, and you know, it won't be the be all and end all. You know, it won't be anybody's fault if we don't get the result we want, and it won't be, you know, this is the reason if we do get the result that we want. But it's just part of what happens and part of life, and unfortunately people lose their lives, and this is things that happen, and there's sad stories to go with happy stories. But hopefully we can remember George, which we have done so far this season in an incredibly positive way on Saturday afternoon. You're gonna have to ask the players in terms of what motivation it gives them. I don't, you know, I think they'll have their own motivation, but it's with us, as you said, and we're proud of his contributions to our football club, and incredibly sad that he's not with us.
Yeah, as we all know, that this competition has not been kind to supporters in the past, has it? But this is a fresh group, isn't it? There seems to be a sort of different mood around the place this time, amongst the fans and amongst the players and amongst yourself. You know, what were the message to the supporters to go into this?
No, I think they've basically answered everything from my point of view. Away from home in the playoffs, even the Stoke City game, the atmosphere in the away end, the home game was a sellout. You know, it was a fabulous environment to play football with in the last game of the season. The two playoff games took care of themselves, and they were incredibly supportive and gave us a load of energy, and they will do Saturday afternoon. And as I said, I think we're close to, if not sold out, and maybe that's the biggest sort of compliment really that you can give. And maybe if they didn't feel that and didn't show that belief and didn't think that we can do it, because it's difficult, because prices and Wembley and travel and everything else connected, it's additional. And but they'll be with us, and they'll give us the backing. And all I can go on is what they've been like with me in my career here since 2016. Incredible. You know, we've tried to give them some memories, but they've given me some incredible memories as well, personally, and the team, and the backing that we've had. You know, of course, there's always some down days or whatever that you have to deal with, but this has been a real positive football club for going on 9 years now. It's been a real big successful era when you will look back at it, and we just want to add that to it, and reward them as well as realising our own ambitions and dreams.
Yeah, I'm sure there were a lot of punters looking at Palace's celebrations last weekend with a bit of jealousy, because I imagine there's not many still around who've seen United win at Wembley. That'd be a pretty good memory to give them, wouldn't it? 100 years on from the last one. Yeah,
there's loads of things in there. There's loads of backstories to it. But you know, for me, I've said to you, Dan, that the club's going to be around for another 139 years or whatever it is, and we will win a playoff campaign. And so there's one in front of us, and we've took a big step towards doing that with the performances and the results in the playoff games. Now we need to make that biggest leap now, which is obviously get a win for everybody concerned.
Yeah, you've obviously got options in your squad. You've got match winners there. You've got a lot of options there off the bench. But what you've got is not just players who played at Wembley. They've experienced success at Wembley, haven't they? You've got, said Gus and Callum have scored there. Hamza's won there. Rob Holding's won there. You know, it's not just experiencing it and maybe having negative memories. It's going there and winning. Could that be a big thing?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you've lost there, you want to put it right, don't you? If you've won there, you want the same experience. So I've not been caught up in any of that. And as I said, the energy that there's been around the place, it just feels different. It feels totally different. Yeah, and I went to Cardiff, and I went, and I went to Wembley when we got beat against Burnley. I didn't go to Huddersfield, but I've been to, semi-finals as well. So that's part of the journey. That's part of the journey, and I get it, and I understand that as soon as the final whistle went against Burnley, that it would come flowing out, and I get that. Yeah. But all I can say honestly is how the players have been, how they've attacked the playoffs, how they attacked the last two games, positivity in their approach and their play, how they attacked the two playoff games, and how we're going to go after the final game in North London on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, just finally from me, you touched on VAR. Obviously, you've played 48 league games this season plus cup without VAR in the last one. You've got it. Do you agree with that?
I was pro VAR when it first come out. I think there's obviously been sort of stumbles with it along the way. We'd all like it to be better than maybe what it is at the moment. So hopefully VAR doesn't come into action on Saturday afternoon, and if it does, everybody gets the correct decision, because that's all we're after. We're after correct decisions, and if it plays its part as it is or was meant to be or brought into the game to be, then is that the ball over the line?
It's working.
He's not Villa Park, is he?
They've tested it this time, yeah.
Switched it on. Yeah. So you just want decisions, good decisions to be made, and surely, I'm sure, with Chris's experience and quality, and the whole world looking on that, he'll play a part in managing the game correctly.
Just make sure he switches the all.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks.